I'm Steven Schloss. I directed a short called Gimme. I am from the US, Massachusetts. I live in Boston, and I made a short film that is a Hanukkah horror-centered piece that is essentially Hellraiser meets Jumanji. It's basically like it's a game movie with a dreidel that summons a demon. So it kind of puts these characters through hell and makes them kind of experience their trauma. And inadvertently brings them together, which is what the game of dreidel is kind of designed to do, but it does it through horrific measures. By trade, I'm a cinematographer in Boston. I do a lot of commercial, corporate, documentary style work. And so I think like very visually, and my outlet is horror. So I do a lot of bright, happy stuff for clients, and I have to feed my darkness. So I do these short horror films on the side. And I also shoot about 1 or 2 feature films a year as a cinematographer. And the genre depends. I've shot thrillers. I'm shooting a horror this summer in Western Massachusetts. And sometimes I even shoot romantic comedies or, kind of whatever the work is. But as a director, I focus on horror and darker concepts. My first short film I did in 2023. I actually, so I went to school for film, and then for 10 years I just did commercial work. And I was directing and shooting commercial work back then. Now I'm kind of more just a cinematographer for commercial work. And it wasn't until COVID when things got slow and I had some time to actually think about what I wanted to do as opposed to just continuing to do this commercial work. So that's when I started diving into narrative filmmaking and really found my passion for it there. I grew up Jewish, and I grew up in a town where there weren't a lot of other Jewish people. So all my friends celebrated Christmas, and nobody really knew about Hanukkah. There wasn't a lot of Hanukkah content. The only thing that I kind of had available to consume was Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights and the Hanukkah song. I always wondered, why isn't there more Hanukkah content? Like, is there not a market for it? And so I waited, and eventually I was like, well, I don't think anyone's going to make this movie. I don't know why. Ideally I want to make a feature film, but before seeing if people are going to even be interested in this idea, I wanted to make a short film to kind of test and see how it was received and see if this was something that was actually worth pursuing in a longer format that was going to occupy a lot more time. And so far the reception's been great. People, I'm getting a lot of, I've never seen that before. I don't know what it is. I think what's cool about horror is you can expose people to culture that they're not aware of. And so I think that's kind of what I was trying to do with Gimme, is give people a little bit more insight into Jewish culture and share with people that it's not about religion, but it's more about tradition that kind of roots, the Jewish holidays. And also the Jewish holidays are very dark. And so they kind of lend to being in this horror world. I had a lot of ideas, and I tried to kind of put as much as I could in a short form. So the short film really leans on visual storytelling, where in the feature I get to have things breathe a little bit more, I get more background, I touch on things in the short. I want to give a taste of what's coming, but not everything, because then it will feel too convoluted. So there is a much bigger world to Gimme, and the feature script is written, the pitch deck is written. We're kind of all ready to go. We just need to raise some money to be able to make it all happen. And there's different tiers of, if we raise X, then we can do this. If we raise a little bit more, then we can get some names. But either way, I'm going to make the movie. So I didn't realize this about myself, but I guess I'm into object horror. Every film I've done has some object that it's centered around, and that's kind of like the culprit of all of the action. So the one I'm doing next month is called Vape Glow, and it centers around a vape. And so the camera's attached to the vape. It's a fixed perspective, and the character is using this vape as a flashlight going around his house during a blackout home invasion. So it's kind of like, it's a very simple point A to point B, very different than Gimme in the sense of Gimme's got a lot to unpack with it. This is just kind of a fun ride. And after doing Gimme, really happy I did it. It was great, but I need a palate cleanser in between doing the short and the feature. And so this is kind of like my silly treat yourself short.